I'm caps lock different. It's facts, not fiction. Said I black out for real, then the track gone missing. If it's cap, I'm dipping. We ain't talking about a move, then it's flatline finished. When I spaz, I'm grinning. Put a peel off in the Sadies and I pass by spinning. It's perks with this life, but I don't have my skinach. Took a quick trip and now I'm back home winning. And I see they eyes pop like I snack on spinach. Pull up to the spot, she tryna grab my digits. I'm already 8 shots, a Henny past my limit. Here you go. Hazards with a dash full of tickets. I'ma act like I don't see them. I got bad eye vision. Y'all can't pass my scrimmage. While y'all tripping, it's Aruba. I realized I had to go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 172 of Psychotic and Iconic. Paul's here along with my co-host Nick Theories and Philly Phil. Thank you to everybody that's tuned into the live stream tonight. Thank you to everybody that likes, follows, and subscribes to all of our platforms. We back after a wild and shitty week one.
Whoa. Shitty? It was shitty in terms of performances, but I thought it was absolutely entertaining, I will say.
Yeah, I felt like the play was so damn sloppy. I'm just going to start this off before we get into it. Preseason matters. And I'm probably going to say it the next 100 times over the next hour.
Me too.
But preseason matters, and it was evident.
That's a fact.
Unless you are injured, you need to go out there and get reps. Preseason didn't matter for the Bills, but preseason matters because the whole league was rusty, with the exception of Tyreek Hill.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah, preseason really does matter. I wonder moving forward if teams are going to recognize this behavior in week one and actually kind of adjust and adapt to it. Because look, not for nothing, a lot of these teams that we're expecting to be Super Bowl contenders are starting off 0-1.
Yeah,
and they could possibly be 1-0 if they had the reps, and shook off the rust a little bit. So I definitely agree there.
Yeah, it's just when I look at it and you're looking at the plays, it's I just look at it, I'm like, you guys look rusty. Even Lamar came out and tweeted, I'm rusty as shit. Well, yeah, bro, you haven't played since week 10 of last year.
Yeah. No, I know.
So it's you got to get in there and get some meaningful reps. Even if you play a half a quarter, 2-3 series each game. Okay, yeah, I get it, the risk factor. But by the same token, you got to get in there. That's how you get your body used to getting hits. That's how you avoid bullshit injuries.
I don't know if I subscribe to the risk factor because it's the NFL added another game. So you're already adding a risk factor into it, right? You're adding another game of getting potentially injured regardless. So the NFL agreed to that along with the Players Association. So to me, it's I don't understand that risk factor shit. For me, I know
what it is, dude. It's all bullshit.
I mean, look, even if they play for a drive or two, get something do it consistently for all 3 games, right? Get a drive, a quarter in, do something just so you can get a little bit of a flow and momentum to showcase, okay, what we did in training camp is going to translate to the games because in preseason we did that, right? Yeah. And so I don't know. I think there's a definitely a low period between training camp and week one.
I mean, you had Joe Burrow throw for 80 yards.
That doesn't make any sense. And he's the highest paid player in the NFL.
Yeah, but for me, even aside from that, it's just Joe Burrow also missed camp because he was injured. But I'm just saying, these guys come out and they just look so out of sorts.
Right.
And when you're out of sorts like that, and you're making mistakes mentally, you're at more risk for injury.
I don't disagree with that at all, man. I mean, look, it doesn't fit all teams, I would say, because Pittsburgh looked outstanding in the preseason. They looked like the team that everybody was saying to watch out for, and they got the fucking doors blown off.
Let's cut this off and let's start going into all these games.
All right, let's snap.
The Jets lose Aaron Rodgers. He tears his Achilles on the 4th offensive play of the game. I actually missed it because I was putting Gianni to bed. I come out, my phone had 100 text messages, and I'm like, I see yikes, and I didn't think it was that. And I'm like, oh my God, this sucks.
I texted you, yikes. Absolute yikes. That was my 2 text messages I sent you, and I was like, wow, this is crazy.
So the Jets wound up beating the Bills. Zach Wilson comes in, saves the day. Played okay.
I would say so.
Yeah. So they win 22-16 in overtime. What do you think it means for the Jets moving forward and the future of Aaron Rodgers?
Well, look, the Jets, they have a good roster. They play excellent defense, as you saw last night. They're going to do that, consistently. Their defensive line is outstanding, and they have great secondary. So for me, the defensive side is only going to take a hit in terms of the offense not being able to sustain drives like Aaron Rodgers would possibly do over Zach Wilson. But other than that, I mean, they still have Breece Hall, who ran extremely well. He had 2 carries for 103 yards in his first 2 carries. And then after that, I mean, he finished off with 10 carries for 127. Dalvin Cook didn't look extremely well, but he is a veteran presence that can help here and there. But, they have Alan Lazard, Garrett Wilson. So I definitely think they can, make some noise, but, losing Aaron Rodgers was their Super Bowl hopes.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, the way that defense played, it made me more like, what do I say? More confident in me saying the Jets were going to go to the Super Bowl because that defense is lights out.
Right.
Now I know it's only week one, but like just to touch on a few things, the Garrett Wilson catch was one of the best catches I've ever seen live. I was actually on FaceTime with you going over the show, and I'm like, yo, holy shit.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
He's awesome, but I don't know if I'm ready to put him in the elite category yet.
I'm just not there yet.
We
got to see how the season plays out, but that catch last night shows the type of talent he is.
Yeah.
Breece Hall looked like he didn't miss a beat. I was pretty blown away by him. Actually.
I was so wrong on him in fantasy. I'll be honest.
He's still shifty. Dalvin Cook, every time Dalvin Cook took the field, after watching Breece Hall, I wanted Dalvin Cook to get off the field.
Yep.
He looked slow. He looked like he couldn't get in and out of the gaps. He had one 10-yard run.
That's it.
Where it was that was a little burst, and it wasn't even that.
But outside of that run, Mike, he had 12 carries for 23 yards outside of the 10-yard run. So, yeah, I agree with you there. He was very lethargic.
He was.
2 yards a carry.
I don't know if it's because he didn't get any work in because he held out all summer.
Well, he had his hurt shoulder too, so maybe he was kind of like testing it out a little bit.
But here's the thing,
at that point,
we talked about this last year. Like, I don't want to say Dalvin Cook was washed, but we said last year in fantasy, I felt like he was kind of quiet.
Well, the last 3 years he was kind of tumbling down
each year,
a little bit by increments.
Yeah,
it wasn't significant to the point where you were going to label him washed.
It was ticking,
but it was ticking, and then now he got hurt, right? And then that's why he became a free agent.
Yeah.
Right. Because the Minnesota was like, all right, well, you are injury prone now. And the last 3 years is not as productive as you were. And now that, with everybody paying the running backs and the conversations behind it, they decided to cut bait.
I feel like, so with Aaron Rodgers going down, that definitely takes the Super Bowl hopes away. I would actually not call a vet. I wouldn't call Carson Wentz. I wouldn't call Tom Brady. I wouldn't call any of them. I would let your number 2 overall pick, after he just was behind Rodgers, everything seemed great from Hard Knocks, all the stuff coming out of camp. See what he can do. And next year, I think Aaron Rodgers is coming back. I'm saying that. I don't know if you do. I'll ask you in a second. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is coming back. I feel like he's not going to go out like that. I feel like he actually formed a really close bond with those dudes. And I just feel like he's going to come back and try and play another season, which at that point would be awkward if Zach Wilson has success, because what do? Do you trade him? Do you put him back on the bench?
What do you do?
But if
you
Zach
can't
Wilson,
trade him now.
But then again, if Zach Wilson struggles, it's like, well, do you still try and save him and put him behind Aaron Rodgers? Because at that point, it's going to be his 3rd year. And it's like, all right, well, you have to show some improvement.
Right.
So I think it's a very tricky situation for the Jets. But Aaron Rodgers last year this offseason did not sound like somebody that was retiring next year. Right. However, it is a long road back from an Achilles injury. Richard Sherman was speaking about it today. I was watching a short on Instagram.
Yep, me too.
And he was saying how hard it is to come back from.
That's one of the hardest injuries to come back from.
And he said because for 6 months your leg feels numb.
Right. And you're not training for football.
Correct.
You're rehabbing.
So 6 months is what, February?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the draft in April. And it's like, all right, so March, April, May, he's trying to get conditioning back and things like that because he's going to be off of his feet. He's going to be 40. It's like, does he really want to do that again?
Yeah. Well, he's turning 40 in December. So then that begs me the question, what's the incentive for the Jets to bring him back? Because last year in Green Bay, it was his worst year, right? Statistically. And then he's coming off an Achilles injury. He's 40 years old. What do the Jets realistically expect from Rodgers next year? Seriously. I mean, if you have a Super Bowl ready roster, then to me, they're in a really tricky situation here.
It is very, because like I said, it's with Zach Wilson, it's almost like a lose-lose. If he succeeds,
I don't know.
No, I'm just saying solely for Zach Wilson. If you succeed, do you put him on the bench? If he doesn't succeed, is he even with the team anymore?
See, I think if he succeeds and he makes the playoffs with the Jets, I actually think Zach Wilson will be named the starter next year.
I agree. If Zach Wilson were to make the playoffs with the Jets, you can't fuck his confidence up and try and go backwards and put him back on the bench.
Right, because the AFC's stacked.
That's what I'm saying. If he makes the playoffs in that division, let alone that conference, Zach Wilson's your quarterback moving forward, which then begs the question, Does Aaron Rodgers just retire, or does he go to a third team? Does he go to the 49ers?
I think what's going to happen.
No, because never mind, because Brock Purdy.
So I think what would happen if Zach Wilson were to have success and he led the Jets to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think what would happen is Aaron Rodgers would probably retire, and I think he would probably be a coach with the Jets. I actually believe that because
That's a really good point.
Because
I like that.
I think Rodgers actually really respects Zach Wilson and he really wants to groom him. I mean, when I watched Hard Knocks, that was the vibe I got.
That's what I'm talking about.
I got
That's
the
exactly
brotherhood vibe, type of coachy vibe. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, if he has success, I can see Rodgers being a part of his journey somehow. Maybe not playing, but being a coach, like a quarterback's coach or something. Like I think he would be excellent at that. So it just really, to me, Rodgers coming back depends on Zach Wilson. Look, if Zach Wilson shits the bed, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back. I think he doesn't want to go out like that. And I think he feels like he owes something to New York now because they embraced him. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like there's a love there and a bond for that city now that he created in the offseason that led to this brotherhood. And I think that he would feel like he owes them something.
How awesome was it running out of the tunnel with the flag?
It was fucking awesome, man. If you don't have chills down your spine, like seeing that, man, like
I didn't get to watch it live, and I'm pissed that I missed it. But like when I saw that, I'm like, damn. I'm like, oh my god, we could still love America and not get in trouble for it.
Epic. It was epic.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to come out with like a different country's flag because we got to be equal and shit like that. We can't love our own country. Right. We're not allowed to love America.
Right. No, I know. Bad. I get it.
It's very bad. But I just was like, damn, like that's awesome. That was such an awesome thing to see. And the next thing I know, I'm like, I got text messages from everybody. I'm like, well, I'm like, Jets out of fuel.
Hey, yo, Philly Phil, put up a poll to see if who thinks Aaron Rodgers is going to come back and if he's going to retire. I'm actually interested to see that.
I think the whole thing depends on Zach Wilson's success, and I don't know with Zach Wilson. I don't know yet because it's like what I've seen. I think has been terrible. Last night I was shocked. I was actually shocked that he won that game.
Yeah, like.
And I think that helps his confidence, obviously. But by the same token, it's like, all right, man, you got to see what it is. And I know the AFC is loaded, but that's how you make your name.
The problem with Zach Wilson is I don't know his ceiling. Like, what's his ceiling? Like, what can he be? Like, when I watched him last night, I'm like, kind of looks similar to what I saw last year, but he did improve in terms of his playmaking ability, his throws, being patient, stuff like that. Like, I think last year he was kind of more erratic. You know, he was making dumb passes. He was throwing in the triple coverage. And I knew he had to pick, which happens. I mean, the Bills are a good defense too, right?
Yeah.
But, like, I'm not going to let his one mistake cloud anybody's judgment on how he actually performed because he outperformed 19-3 the second half against the Bills. Like 19-3, that will do it for you. Regardless of how many turnovers Josh Allen had, doesn't matter. He converted and they put points on the board to win the football game. And that's really what matters.
Yeah.
So if he could be a game manager and get them in the game and always be like neck and neck with a team, anything can happen. And that's how I see this season.
The hard thing is like you're saying with Zach Wilson with the ceiling, like, can he be Dak Prescott?
No.
Can he be a back end top 10? I don't see it.
I don't see that either. And that's where
I'm saying like Dak, to me, top 10 back end of it. But again, if you're a top 10 quarterback in the league, dude, that's good.
But I actually don't think like the Jets need a top 10 quarterback to even have success. Like I think they're built for a mid-tier quarterback to come in there and do what he needs to do to win the game because they have a good defense. They have good weapons. Like I question their offensive line. Their offensive line is just awful. And like not for nothing, like that's the reason why Aaron Rodgers was pressured in almost every single play he was in. Because they couldn't block anybody. And he actually got injured with Dwayne Brown, who's probably his best lineman. Right. But Rodgers, it was a 3-step drop. He shouldn't have turned like that. He has to get rid of the ball. And it's supposed to be a quick play, quick, decisive play.
They said that, yeah, the 3-step
It's supposed to be. That's what
he tried to make something happen. Like it just sucked.
And
you see the players coming out about the fake turf.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how true that is, but look, all those players complain about it. So it must mean something.
They prefer to play on grass. Which I probably would too, right? I don't know. I'd never really played on turf, so I don't really know. It's just odd that like every single player, that is like one thing that all the players are aligned on. Mm-hmm. Real grass, not turf. Probably because you can get your cleats into the ground and make those cuts, and not like break an ankle or something. That just happened. That was kind of a freak accident. To a degree, yeah, it was because he was trying to spin out of this, out of the sack. I was like, oh. I knew it was over when he looked up.
and he sat down and like rolled down onto his back. I'm like, okay.
He
I
couldn't
didn't think it was an Achilles. I thought he broke his foot because of the way his foot bit.
I thought he broke his ankle. Yeah,
Okay,
I thought it was an ankle injury.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it came out that it was a torn Achilles, and I was like, oh my God, that's horrible.
And they were coming, and when they took him out of the tent and he got on the cart and he was in the boot, I'm like, oh my God.
It's over.
I'm like,
I knew it was over.
Yeah, I felt so bad, dude.
I did, man. And I wasn't high on the Jets this year for multiple reasons, and the offensive line being one of them. But I was heartbroken for Aaron Rodgers because I know how much it meant, like this season meant to him.
Yeah,
you could just tell. And I think it meant a lot to the Jets players and the coaches as well. Like Robert Saleh coming out and saying that he's only thinking about Aaron Rodgers right after a thrilling victory over the Buffalo Bills tells me everything I need to know.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like so I feel like the relationship between Rodgers, the coach, and everybody in the Jets organization, they've really developed a special bond in the offseason. And you could tell this was a crushing blow to almost everybody in the locker room. So yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, man. I hate that for him. I really do. Because I was actually looking forward to seeing Aaron Rodgers in a Jets uniform going toe to toe with a Patrick Mahomes or a Joe Burrow in the playoffs, or in one of those scenarios, like, because that could realistically happen.
It was.
And I would have loved to see it. I really would have. I don't want to see Rodgers going against Kirk Cousins in the NFC. Like, now we're getting to see Aaron Rodgers going against the top premier quarterbacks in the league. And I wanted to see him go head to head with that. And it sucks we're getting robbed of the opportunity.
Let's switch over a little bit. I want to go to the Bills. Josh Allen has 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and a fumble, and falls to 0-5 in overtime. I need answers. You want to start this one?
He was god awful last night. The first half, I would say he played pretty well. Like, I knew he threw the interception, but the interception to me is like a wash because, like, it was a long third down, and to me, it was like a punt.
That was his worst interception of the night.
I think that was his best one. The first one.
Phil, can you bring up that clip I sent you?
I think that was his first. I think it was his best one.
That was
in terms of the situation.
I'm going to show you this, and you're going to agree with me here. This was his worst interception of the night, and this was when I freaked out in fantasy and knew I was over.
This was in the second quarter?
This was the first interception he threw. Now, Phil, when he scrambles out and he starts running, when he's getting ready to throw the ball, Nick, I want you to look. There's not a defender within 15 yards of him. If he takes off, he has one defender to beat, and he scores a touchdown. Watch this clip. Watch when he rolls out. Right now.
Looking left is going to launch.
There is one defender.
Field overthrown. It's picked. Intercepted by Whitehead. That was as good as a punt.
It's as good as a punt.
And that's wrong.
That's where I agree, though.
No.
What was it? 3rd and what?
3rd and 7, 3rd and 10. But if he runs, he gets the first down and 40 more yards. There's not when he turns like this and opens his body to throw, there's not even a defender in the screen view. Why he didn't run there and then tries to leapfrog a defender on 3rd and 15 is beyond me. That was the exact moment, A, I knew I was losing in fantasy, and B, I'm like, okay, if you're not going to run those balls anymore, you're not going to be good in this league.
He ran a lot.
That's part of his game.
He ran a lot.
He only had 4 runs.
Yeah, six carries.
6 carries. That's got to go up.
Right.
It's 2, and I know he needs to avoid hits, but you can avoid hit. You can slide. You don't always need to run over a linebacker. But on plays like that, that was when I knew, because as soon as he threw that interception, I looked up and I was on the DVR and I'm like, there's not even a defender in what was he thinking there? But it goes back to my whole theory with the Bills' offense is trash. They're either a 70-yard bomb or they're Josh Allen running around. And for some reason, he didn't run around there when he should have, because he could have easily got rid of that cornerback. That cornerback was so far away from him. And it's like, dude, it was good as a punt if it was 4th down.
He has a skill set to avoid that, the tackle.
Even if the cornerback comes in, he was getting that first down, even if he ran into him and ran him over like a running back. That was the exact moment where I'm like, okay. And then the other one, the dude, Whitehead, he made a good play on the one where he tried to thread the needle where he's coming across the field. Those interceptions, I don't even get mad at. Now, look, there were 3 defenders around him.
No, I'm mad at that one. That was the one that I was mad about the most. Because you have Gabe Davis with 3 people there, and it's like, bro, he was never open.
And it's Gabe Davis. It's not Stephon Diggs.
Right.
So that I'm with you on there. But the reason that one made me so mad, it's because when you look at that clip,
it was avoidable.
It was so, but That actually, the cornerback that was on Diggs and the high safety were in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
There was nobody there. Like, bro, those are the things where I just get so mad with Josh Allen because I'm like, bonehead, erratic decisions. And it's like, until those plays are cleaned up, he's never going anywhere.
The problem is with him is like the talent is just is there. I think the problem is now with this year, and we heard him in the offseason, he wanted to limit his amount of running.
Bro,
and that was probably the result of it.
that's what I thought of right there.
And what did I say? I said, when you instill a playmaker to do things that it's out of his instincts, he's going to make mistakes like that. But if he was playing instinctively, he would have ran.
Yep.
And that's where I had a problem with. You know what I mean? And I said that on the offseason because when he said that, I was like, stick what you're good at. You get 40 touchdowns a year running and throwing the football. Like, all you got to do is clean up your mistakes, your boneheaded plays, and you're going to be back in the playoffs.
It's not even so much that back in the playoffs, dude. If he cleans up those mistakes and even gets these turnovers down like 20%,
I would say 50%. Yeah,
I'm just
cut
saying,
it in half.
just even if you just cut it in half, I was only saying a quarter. I know 20 is not a quarter, but I'm just saying, like, if you just cut it down 1/4% to a half, 50%, that dude is a top 2, top 3 talent at quarterback. Like, there's not talents that are above him, but his decision making. And we went back to this a little bit a few weeks ago, and I tried to find it, and I couldn't find the clip where I said, dude, I swear, when I watch him sometimes, I swear to God, dude, it's like watching Carson Wentz, a guy who is supremely talented, but you just look at him sometimes. He makes plays. We were on FaceTime again, that little flip. He makes plays where you look and you're like, holy shit, like that, only that dude can make that play. And then he makes plays where you look at him and you're like, bro, who are you?
Yeah.
What was going through your head? And then I looked this up. I checked out this stat because I was interested in his turnovers. 2018, he has 12 games played, 14 turnovers. 2019, he has 16 games played, 13 turnovers. 2020, 16 games played, 16 turnovers. 2021, 17 games played, 18 turnovers. 2022, 16 games played, 19 turnovers. 2023, 1 game played, 4 turnovers. You're never going to win in this league with those numbers. He has more turnovers than games played. He's on a list with Baker Mayfield, Carson Wentz, Justin Fields. That's not the company that he should be in.
Well, my rebuttal to that with all the turnovers is, I mean, I think a lot of them are interceptions, but there's a lot of them that are fumbles too. And to me, that comes back to the Bills just not establishing the run with their running backs. And when you put all the whole offense into one player, you're going to make mistakes. It's the NFL, right? Like, when you have all the weight on you in running and passing, those mistakes are just going to happen. It's just because you have a lot more opportunity to make those mistakes because you always have the ball in your hand.
They ran the ball 16 times last night, though.
And they need to run it for 20.
I agree. They need to make him throw less.
They need to make him throw less and be patient and get Diggs involved early in terms of it. When I watch Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, their best success, it's the quick throws and it's the slants. It works like it's 10 yards a pop,
and they
easy.
don't, for some reason,
easy.
They resort to just having Stephon Diggs run post and goes.
Well, that's where I'm going to come back and I'm going to say, damn, like maybe the Buffalo receiving core needs work.
I said that, dude. He only got one. Gabe Davis is that. We were talking about that with Allen Lazard, and it's like Gabe Davis, Allen Lazard, whatever.
Right.
Like when you only have Stephon Diggs, it's like, yo, get him some help. Like, you're going out and getting Von Miller. Okay, I get it. You got to help out your quarterback at some point.
Get offensive line, something.
Josh Allen's offensive line is mediocre.
It is.
Joe Burrow's offensive line is trash. But what does Josh Allen have? Joe Burrow have? Weapons at his disposal all over the field.
And he's patient.
Yes, and well, he's better from the pocket because he's a pocket guy. Josh Allen is more backyard style.
Right.
But he's got a good running back, a lethal 1, a lethal 2, and a lethal 3. Josh Allen has a lethal 1, and it looks like a pretty good running back in James Cook.
Decent.
But that's it. And it's like, okay, bro, you going to get him a wide receiver? You should be making calls for Mike Evans.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing when these guys? T. Higgins is a free agent. Now, they probably can't because of the cap hit that Josh Allen's going to hit next year. The Bills are in trouble financially like that. But like a T. Higgins or something like that, they need to get Josh Allen another weapon. opposite of Diggs, and it just it'll open your whole offense up.
Right.
Nobody's scared of Gabe Davis.
Right. He's a boom or bust kind of guy.
And Gabe Davis is good. Like, he's not trash.
What I want to point out too is that the Bills traded up for Dalton Kincaid. And to me, it's like, what for? Like, Dawson Knox and him had the same amount of targets. And it's like, all right, you got another tight end, but for what reason? Go get an outside playmaker and go do something, because you have Dawson Knox who could do the same thing.
That's a great point.
So to me, like, moving up and getting Dalton Kincaid doesn't really make any sense right now. It just doesn't. Like, not for where they are. I just think they need another playmaker on the outside. I mean, look, if Gabe Davis could be a number 2 and you have an actual, slot receiver that can get open and be shifty and get you the first downs outside of Stephon Diggs, then you could be successful. You can have patience. But his patience are running low, because if Diggs is covered, who else is he going to throw the ball to?
He has to run.
He has 2 tight ends now, and he has Gabe Davis. And Gabe Davis he looks invisible. He has 4 targets, 2 catches, 32 yards, and 1 catch was for 26. So he's really a non-factor.
Yeah.
It's the bottom line.
And the other part is like you're saying, like with the receiving corner, it's like, all right, well, once it breaks down, Josh Allen's got to run. But now you're talking about pulling him back on that. It's like he could still run and do all of that. It just know when you have to run somebody over to get the first down, know when to slide, know when to get out of bounds. You don't just have to completely stop running.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I just noticed that, like I said, I was watching it more intensely last night because I needed points from him to win in fantasy. But he had 14 points at halftime and finished the game with 9.
Yeah.
And it was just, I'm just standing there watching, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then that first interception, and that's when I just knew, and I'm like, he's in his head. And then after the post-game press conference, he looked like he didn't know what happened.
He was so fucking mad. He said,
like, distraught.
What do you know what he said? It's the same shit.
Same shit. Well,
you know
and
what?
I'm looking at him and I'm like, all right, bro, that's on you to fix it.
Yeah.
That's on you don't tell me your coach.
But I give him props for it, though. He owned it.
He owned it.
I
like that.
And I have no problem with that, because he is the reason why the Bills lost this game.
Absolutely.
And if anybody says anything otherwise, they don't watch the game. I don't know how else you want.
Well, there's no even other way to get around that. It was probably the worst Josh Allen game I've ever seen. But honestly, dating back to like week 9 of last year, he just hasn't played well.
He hasn't.
In his last 5 games, he has 9 interceptions.
Right. But again, when your lead back has 12 carries, you're not establishing the run.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, between James Cook and Damian Harris, they had 13 carries. Then he had sprinkled with, Latavius Murray with 2 carries. Which, by the way, that was the first time you saw him.
I didn't know, dude. If you would have told me that, and I would have bet that he wasn't on that. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I had no idea until you said that. When I'm like, who was number 28?
Lat Pasillo.
And you said that, and I just started laughing. I'm like, no, it's not.
You were like, holy shit, yo, it really is.
Because I just saw him, and I'm like, the dude's ageless.
He is.
You just plug him on any team, and he gives you good 5-6 yard bursts at a time.
Right. But there's no running game with this team. 12 carries for James Cook and 46 yards. Like, to me, it's just not efficient enough for them to actually stick with it.
Yeah.
So I think the Bills are really squandering this opportunity that they had the last couple of years, because they knew their weaknesses. Their offensive line, they can't run the ball. They don't have another weapon outside of Stephon Diggs. I know they try to get Dalton Kincaid. Again, he's a rookie tight end. You can't expect him to be Travis Kelce.
He's not helping you win a Super Bowl this year.
That's what I'm saying.
You ain't going to war with him against Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews in your own division. Not for nothing, Dalton Kincaid ain't even Evan Ingram right now.
No, he's not. I would say he's not even Dawson Knox. So to me, it's like, I don't know, man. I think the Bills have actually failed in the offseason to get Josh Allen legit, offensive playmakers that can actually help this team. Their defense is good.
And I did question. I said this too, and I should have stuck by it. I said I knew the Bills were coming for a regression year. Not trying to go,
it's week
go
1,
too crazy on week 1. I'm
week
not
1.
saying that. They looked out of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense looked dead. They just I don't know.
I'll tell you what, though. There's one thing to watch, and that's Mr. Stephon Diggs, because if the Bills start losing a little bit, I guarantee he requests a trade.
Not even a question.
I guarantee it.
Not even a question.
And he will cause a ruckus.
100%.
I mean, you saw it last year on the sideline in the playoffs. I mean, like, you're telling me now a year later they're losing again, and he wants to win, and he's not going to ask to be traded.
He's looking
That's
at Josh
stupid.
Allen do that shit, and he's probably just again. You're not. What are you doing in the offseason?
Right.
How many times can you say you got to focus on this, and you just don't see the improvement?
Right. I mean, he got the ball too. 13 targets, 10 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, this guy's money. But if you get
Every
him
game.
somebody else on the opposite side, this offense can go places.
100%.
Like, because it would be hard to stop. You have 2 tight ends, right? That's where I'm not mad about the 2 tight ends. If you have 2 tight ends and you also have somebody outside of Stephon Diggs that's a competent receiver and can get separation, get open, you have something here. You got weapons at your disposal, and then you can establish the run, do them play action. You know what I mean? Like keeping the defense on their toes. But when you become, I want to say, predictable, that's the result you're going to get, because they started to become predictable in that game. You know, when it's 2nd and 9, it's like the Buck last year. 2nd and 9, they're going to throw the ball. 2nd and, you know, they weren't getting any positive yards on the ground, and that's why they struggled offensively. And that's what I saw last night against the Bills, with the Bills.
All right, that does it for that. I don't want to talk about them anymore. I am devastated that Josh Allen couldn't come through.
The Jets defense did, though, for me. That was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was good for you. I was happy for you about that.
That was actually insane. I actually didn't feel like Nick for that. Like,
the problem was, is like,
second.
I wanted to get excited, but like I was just like, I can't believe I just lost in the fashion that I lost, because I've been screaming for like the past year how overrated I think Josh Allen is, and for that to occur when I really need him to shut me up.
Yeah.
And I was like the one time I really wanted him to shut me up. Like, I wanted you to come in here today and just tear me apart because Josh Allen played awesome and got 30 points.
I know.
Hopefully,
well, look,
moving forward.
If you're looking to trade him, you can always hit my jack. I will always be available.
Just give me your kicker. That's all I need.
That's
these
fine.
things.
I'll win the whole thing.
All right, Lions beat KC last Thursday night, 21-20. We called that.
The knee biters, baby.
The knee biters did it. I just want to say this one thing before we go more into this. I don't care if Travis Kelce plays or not. They need a wide receiver. And I'm just going to say that. Last year I said it. I thought the offense would be trash. Juju's not ass, but Juju is not great. But Juju is somebody that you can at least go to that has NFL experience, has played in Pittsburgh, which is a world-class organization, played in the playoffs, learned from Antonio Brown. He's been there. When you run into a stadium and you got Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, who I actually think is pretty good, but I don't know what happened last Thursday, and you're running out with these guys, you have nothing. You could put 3 guys on Travis Kelce. None of those wide receivers are beating you. And MVS and Isaiah Pacheco didn't look great. Clyde Edwards-Helaire didn't look great.
All right.
They need to get a wide receiver.
I don't disagree with that at all.
The fact that they didn't want DeAndre Hopkins is mind-blowing to me.
I don't know if they didn't want him. I think the price tag was too steep.
No, he said that they weren't interested in his services.
They didn't call at all?
The 49ers, the Cowboys, and one other team.
Well, that's because they won without a lethal wide receiver last year.
But they had somebody.
So it's kind of arrogance to a degree.
It is.
Right?
And for that, I just want him to get ripped. I just want him to get torched.
Oh, I'm so happy. I mean, look.
Do you think it says more about the Lions or more about the Chiefs?
The one thing I hate about after, what happened after this game was everybody said, oh, yeah, this win has an asterisk next to it. Like, how can you say that? Right. And everybody's saying, oh, well, this play, that play, and the third. I'm like, all right, well, what happened to, the Lions guy fumbling in the red zone? Like, that's points off the board. Like, you didn't factor that into your little dialogue. So like, I just never understood it. I give the Lions full credit for winning this game. If you had the number 1 quarterback at home during a ring ceremony, and then you got the Lions, the good old, shitty Lions coming in, and they took it to them, man. The hungrier team won. Like we said last week, we said it. The hungrier team is going to win this football game. And the Lions were the hungrier team. And you could just tell. I mean, look at Kadarius Toney's performance. He was awful. He didn't look like a guy that was starving to catch the ball.
He didn't look like
he looked like he was shaky.
He looked like he hasn't eaten in 3 weeks.
Right. So, and then you got MBS, and then you got Rashee Rice had a couple.
He looked all right.
good plays, but he, again, 3 catches for 29 yards isn't going to do it. And I think the Lions are an upcoming team. I think they played fantastic defense, regardless of Kelce not being there. But I'm not going to take this win away from the Lions. They definitely earned it. They were on the road against against the Super Bowl champs, and they won the game fair and square. I don't care who wasn't there. I'm
not taking anything away from them. They went into Arrowhead. They won the game against the defending champs. What else needs to be said? Arrowhead's one of the hardest stadiums to play in.
But again, this is everybody protecting Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, he lost because of this, because he didn't have Travis Kelce. Well, did we say the same thing when Brady didn't have Gronk?
I want to touch on that. I also want to say this. what he was throwing to all night has what Lamar Jackson has been throwing to his entire career. That's number one. And can we have a conversation about this? Because I've been told by everybody, Patrick Mahomes is so good, he can win with everybody. He can win with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment he has to win with anybody, he doesn't have anybody. So what am I fucking missing on this? Either you can win with anybody or you can't. That's like the best coach I've ever seen, the offensive genius, Kyle Shanahan. You could plug anybody in at quarterback and they'll be great. You put Trey Lance in. Well, Trey Lance hasn't played in a few years. You put in CJ Beathard. Oh, he's trash. You just told me he can win with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
No, you need good players.
You need good players.
Any quarterback needs good players. If Dak Prescott had Josh Allen's stat line, lost in Patrick Mahomes fashion at the home opener, they would rip him apart. If that was Jalen Hurts, they'd be questioning his skills. Can he do it? Is it a Super Bowl hangover? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
No. Patrick Mahomes lost. He can't win with anybody. He can't win with anybody. He needs Travis Kelce.
Right.
And that's okay. I'm not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes. But it's like, stop saying that he can win with us three. Obviously, he can't.
True.
Obviously, he can't. It's not true. You can't make guys catch a ball.
Right.
So I just wanted to touch on that.
I don't think Mahomes was particularly sharp either, though. I think he played well. I don't think he played in Mahomes' status.
Bro, the dude ran for 20 yards when there was nobody in front of him, and everybody's going crazy like, oh, my God, this guy is so magical. He could – the announcer said that. Oh, Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. He could do it all.
Because he faked the flip,
yeah.
And then he ran for an extra 10 yards.
And then afterwards, after the game and they lost, the one dude said, I'm putting an asterisk next to this because they had no Chris Jones and no Travis Kelce. It's like, you just said he's magical and he can win with anybody, but he loses and you're already finding the reasons that he lost.
Right.
And not for nothing, their defensive line played well. The Lions are a high-powered offense. They pretty much got shut down in the first half. They had 7 points.
They gave up 21 points without their best player. There was opportunities to win this game.
It wasn't, honestly, everybody thought it was more important for Chris Johnson. What's his face?
Chris Jones, yeah.
Chris Jones to come back. Excuse me. It's more important for Travis Kelce to come back, not Chris Jones.
I agree with that.
Travis Kelce is more important to that team right now than Chris Jones, and it was evident.
I agree with that
Thursday
because
night.
I think the Chiefs linebackers actually improved from last year.
Yes.
Karlaftis, Bolton, they actually have really good games, and I think their secondary actually had a really nice game too. And McDuffie, he had a good game.
They did. But the problem is that Patrick Mahomes now has gotten to the point where you can't critique him, you can't criticize him. Everything he does is
He's
great.
invincible.
He is, and it's like I don't understand it, and I just go back to the same thing, man. He can win with anybody until he's got to win with anybody, and then he doesn't have anybody.
This was a winnable game though for Patrick Mahomes.
The whole world thought they were going to. I thought they were going to win the game when the Lions went for it. I'm like, oh my God, why would they do that? That is so. I still think it was a stupid decision.
I do too.
I still think it was a stupid decision.
But I respect it though because the Lions don't play scared because their coach embodies that.
Well, I believe Dan Campbell was going for it because the dude ran a fake kick.
That's what I'm saying.
A fake punt on his own 20.
But that's how you beat those teams. You do shit like that. You to throw them off.
Yes.
And be successful at it because they're not expecting it. Grit. Exactly. I love that guy.
I'm rooting for the Lions. So
I love that guy. The Lions are this win was so big for them for the rest of the season because this gives them the extra confidence throughout the entire season, knowing that they can hold that they beat the Chiefs in their house during the ring ceremony on opening night.
Jared Goff 2-0 against Mahomes.
Undefeated.
Where do you rank Jared Goff?
I got him at 12 right now. But he's going to crack my top 10 if the Lions fuck around and go 6-3 or 6-2. Because I don't think the Lions are a juggernaut. I think Jared Goff just works. That's how I see it. Because when I look at his receivers, okay, you got Amon-Ra, but they got Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, Sam Laporta.
Sam Laporta's a first.
Brock Wright, Marvin Jones, who had 2 catches for 8 yards. I mean, look, he doesn't have the best wide receivers either. Josh Reynolds had 4 catches for 80 yards with 7 targets. So, he's utilizing his guys, and they're not premier players in the league, but he's making it work. And why is that? Because he's getting them guys open, and he's hitting the guys where the ball needs to be.
I want to touch on this real fast. If Josh Allen could learn the intermediate play like Jared Goff, he's a monster. He's unstoppable.
He just needs to be a little bit more patient.
That's what I'm saying. If he could just take the time to get those intermediate throws and get his second receiver, like a Josh Reynolds, have Gabe Davis have 4 catches for 60 yards, 80 yards, the Bills' offense will be special. If Josh Allen can get patient in the pocket and not break away, or he breaks away and keeps his eyes down the field. But that's what I'm saying from Jared Goff. Jared Goff to me is in that same is in the same thing. Back end of the top 10. I don't have him right in the top 10 yet, but Jared Goff is a good quarterback.
Which is actually kind of crazy to actually, when I actually think about it, because we automatically put Joe Burrow as a number 2 player just because he had the Super Bowl appearance and shit like that. But so did Jared Goff, right? Yep. And he's been to the championship game. Like, he's done that shit multiple times.
The problem is that it ended a little bit sour in Los Angeles, and then he went to Detroit, and the first year wasn't that good. And people just thought it was Jared Goff in Detroit.
Right. Well, he got overshadowed because Matthew Stafford won the Super Bowl that year. That's where everybody was looking at Jared Goff like, damn, maybe it was Goff the reason why they didn't win the Super Bowl, which could be true.
But you know what Jared Goff did? He put his head down. He worked. He came back. The Lions got better. If Carson Wentz had the same mentality that Jared Goff did, Carson Wentz would still be in the NFL.
I agree with that because his talent is excellent.
But he doesn't he's not made of the right shit to handle that. And that was evident of the temper tantrum with the Hurts pick. But Jared Goff put his head down, worked, and look at the Lions. They're favorites. We said this before. Opening night against the defending Super Bowl champions, the Lions, they haven't won a playoff game since the year we were born.
I'll tell you what, the Lions are a very scary team because they are going to rally around their head coach. When I watched that post-game conference with Dan Campbell with all his players around saying, did we expect to win that game? Hell fucking yeah, we did, right? You look at Jared Goff's eyes when you actually go back and replay the clip. You look at Jared Goff's eyes, looking at him like this. He's in it, bro. Like, he is fucking fired up. You can tell Dan Campbell's energy is completely resonating throughout the entire organization of that team.
He changed
the entire culture of Detroit. They have become a hard-hitting team, and they're ready to fight. They're going to be in every single fucking game, like, regardless. So, like, to me, they're almost like matchup proof.
Yep.
To a degree, because they're going to give you everything they got, regardless.
Their culture to me reminds me of the Eagles.
Kind of reminds me of the Ravens.
A family-oriented culture where they all love each other. They play hard for each other. Their egos aren't in the way. They're all together as one. And when you get a culture like that, it's unbreakable. It's an unbreakable bond. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard, Hurts, those guys love each other.
They do.
And Darius Slay, you could just see it. But speaking of Darius Slay, let's go to the Eagles. The Eagles beat the Patriots in a thriller. That was an awesome game, 25-20. That game is closer than I expected to a degree. The Patriots are not going to be an easy out each week.
I didn't think that either. I never thought that. I thought the Patriots were going to be tough this year.
I didn't. You know what it was for me? I knew their defense would be good. Their offense looked all right. Their offense looked like it could hang. And you know why? Because of number 10. Because Mac Jones has a legitimate offensive coordinator that knows how to game plan and scheme and put him in the right positions. You got this dude out here balling with Kendrick Bourne.
I would give credit to the Patriots defense more than the offense, I would say, in this game. That defense was for real, bro.
Oh, their defense is for real. No. There's no doubt about that.
Anybody doubting Bill Belichick is absolutely insane, because that defense looked like it was the Patriots defense that we've seen.
I got on Bill Belichick over the summer when we were talking about it, strictly because I didn't like what he did to Mac Jones, because I thought he put him in an unfair, unwinnable, unmanageable situation.
Still, and that point still remains. I don't disagree with that.
But at least he got him an offensive coordinator that knows what the hell he's doing.
And they looked a lot comfortable.
They look competent.
They did.
Zeke looked all right. Ramondre Stevenson looked all right. Kendrick Bourne looked all right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Hunter Henry had a good game.
He did have a good game. And you see it, and it's like Jalen Hurts actually didn't play very well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I have Dallas Goedert in fantasy. There were 2 touchdowns on the board for Dallas Goedert, and for whatever reason, Jalen Hurts just wasn't looking at him. Dallas Goedert was dead silent. I didn't expect that. I don't know what to say. I probably put the kibosh on him.
On Hurts?
No, on Goddard.
On Goddard? Nah, I actually think Goddard's going to step up really, really big this week.
Yeah, I'm looking.
But
I'm hoping on Thursday.
Going back to this game, you know how we said earlier that Patrick Mahomes didn't have anybody to throw to? Well, who the fuck does Mac Jones have?
Thank you.
Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry, Demario Douglas, Mike Gesicki, who was a throwaway in Miami, Juju Smith-Schuster, who didn't really have an impact, Zeke.
He actually dropped a key critical third down pass that would have made it a first.
Right. And
Mac
Mac Jones had 316 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Eagles. Against the Eagles. The Eagles ain't no slouch. The Eagles are the best team in NFL.
They have 2 top 5 corners.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he threw a pick 6. It happens. But you know what? He bounced back, and they were down 16-0, and he rallied back to bring it down to 16-14 at half. That's respectable.
It's resilience.
And the Eagles, to me, this game should have been an absolute blowout.
They should have smoked
They should have absolutely smoked them. 16-0. They had the ball in Patriots territory and didn't capitalize on anything.
You know what's funny? We're going to talk about this team next. The Giants marched down the field. Dallas gets that turnover, and it was a wrap from there. They went up, and they buried them. That's what the Eagles needed to do.
That's what they needed
to the Patriots. But the difference is they're well coached.
Yep.
And their defense is stout.
They're very, very good.
The Patriots are good. They're fast. They're ball hawks. They hit hard. They get pressure up front.
They do hit hard, bro.
Jalen Hurts looked out of sorts.
Yeah. Jabril Peppers, the way he hit Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts
when he caused the fumble,
body. Yeah, he's a big body.
He smacked him.
Jalen Hurts is a big dude.
Yeah.
To smack somebody like that and make him fumble.
He felt that.
He felt that for real.
Yeah, bro, for real.
But I'll say this with the Eagles. I know they struggled offensively, but you're giving Bill Belichick 6 months to prepare for this game.
Yeah.
He's going to figure out a way to slow you down.
He was preparing in the Super Bowl.
He's prepared, right? He's prepared. He's been preparing for this game all off season. So I'm not going to put too much, what do I say? Stock into 25-point performance against the Patriots. Like, to me, they got the win. They did what they had to do, and they got out.
Looking at that defense, putting up 25 is pretty damn good.
It's pretty good. But the Eagles are potentially a 40-point, weekly team. Like, this offense is fucking loaded. Like, it just is. It just didn't click because Belichick was ready for everything. And even Jalen Hurts said it in the postgame. He said they were ready for everything. Like, they were prepared. And that's a credit to the coach and Bill Belichick.
How would you grade Jalen Hurts' performance?
I'll give it a B minus.
I was gonna say a C.
I don't think he was bad. I don't think he was good. I thought he was good enough to win the game. That's it. I
give him a C. And it's basically because you can't miss those opportunities to Goddard.
Right.
Like, and I'm not just saying that because he's on my fantasy team. Those plays are important. He was wide open on about 4 plays.
Right.
Where he was, 2 of them were walk-in touchdowns. So, but look, I'm not that worried about it. First game, you got the W. You scored 25 points on that defense. That's all that matters. And remember, it's also a new offensive coordinator. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles will pick it up. We're going to fucking smoke the Vikings on Thursday, get 10 days off, and we'll be ready to go.
I agree with that. I just, I was very impressed with the Patriots, though. I got to be honest with you.
Was I.
I'll say this right now. I mean, Mac Jones, he's a better quarterback than Justin Fields.
No kizzy.
I'm not shy about that.
No.
I'm just not. I mean, his number 1 wide receiver was Kendrick Bourne. He's 28 years old.
Pure quarterback skills and ability, Mac Jones is better than Justin Fields.
He's excellent.
The only thing Justin Fields has on him is athleticism and running.
That's it.
So I get running is athletic. So
the brains he doesn't have, pocket presence he doesn't have, able to read the defense he doesn't have.
He holds on to the ball too long. I mean, bro, it's just like you look at Justin Fields and he's just sitting back there and it's like, okay, your offensive line ain't that trash. You're holding on to the ball too long.
That's exactly right. And DJ Moore, let's get into the Bears, actually. We'll skip all those other topics that we had on the thing. We'll get to them, but let's talk about the Bears since we're on this topic. I don't think the Bears are any different than last year.
They're not.
I think they're the same fucking team. And I know everybody was like, oh, yeah, get Justin Fields a weapon, get him offensive line help, get him this and get him that. He looked like the same quarterback. They got their ass beat at home against Jordan Love. The guy didn't play in a couple years because Aaron Rodgers was there. And all this hype about Justin Fields taking the Jalen Hurts leap. He fucking fell flat right on his face. And that's the bottom line.
You can't have the hype of Justin Fields. You got people talking crazy saying that Justin Fields, it's an insult to say that Justin Fields is the same talent as Jalen Hurts and that he's not. He's more talented.
Talking crazy.
What are you watching?
I don't know.
What are you watching?
I honestly don't know.
Justin Fields is a poor decision maker. He doesn't throw the ball as accurate. Go look at the touchdown pass that Jalen Hurts threw to Devontae Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Tight window, low so that Devontae Smith could get down and get it.
Hell, look at Tua's fucking tight window throw with Tyreek Hill with the game on the line.
Yeah, it's not even a question with this Justin Fields stuff. And I was one of the people saying, get him a wide receiver, but I wasn't saying it was going to propel him to be great. It was, I want to see what he can do with a good wide receiver.
That's when you'll know.
DJ Moore has 1,000 yards with PJ Tucker, Baker Mayfield.
PJ Tucker is crazy.
These bum-ass quarterbacks.
PJ Walker.
Yeah, PJ Walker. PJ Tucker
is crazy. Yeah.
PJ Walker. And it's like, I'm looking and I'm like, come on, Justin. Come on, dude. What are you doing?
Look, DJ Moore
Who's worse,
to me.
Juddy in fantasy or Justin Fields with the Bears?
Oh, man. I'll go Justin Fields with the Bears because Juddy actually won this week.
He did. I can't even talk. I'm on.
So I can't shit on him this week. I salute that.
I salute. Juddy got me this week.
But let's talk about it though, man. Like you finally get the wide receiver, and the wide receiver has 2 catches for 25 yards. Right now, where was this big play explosiveness that everybody saw in the preseason? I'll wait.
I said it. He had 7 air yards.
I will wait. That ain't going to happen in the real fucking regular season. Teams are actually game planning for you so you don't get those kind of plays and easy points. It's not going to happen in the league. It's very rare.
Justin Fields had a chance to come out, make a statement. We're the Kings of the North. The Bears are my team. We're going to start off with a dub at home against the Packers at 4:30. And he got outplayed by Jordan Love.
The other quarterback made the statement.
Let me ask you a question. Over the next 3 years, would you feel more comfortable with Jordan Love as your quarterback or Justin Fields?
This is tough, man. I would probably feel comfortable with Jordan Love, and here's why. He got to learn from Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Who the fuck did Fields learn from?
Matt Eberflus.
Right? Like who? Who was the veteran that they brought in that he can learn from? Nobody.
But I thought Justin Fields didn't go out to dinner with his family because he wanted to study his playbook.
I
can't imagine how bad he would have been if he went to that dinner and didn't study his playbook for 45 minutes. I can't even imagine.
You know what, man? I'm so happy. Like I'm gonna sit here and just be so happy because all this talk in the off season, I got so mentally exhausted just of reading Justin Fields this, Justin Fields that. He's the next superstar. He's a top 5 fantasy quarterback. He's this, that, and the third. And this dude he's nothing but a mid-round talent. He is like a Walmart version of Kyler Murray. He is. At least Kyler Murray is accurate. At least Kyler Murray has had success. At least Kyler Murray went on a 7-game run. At least Kyler Murray went to the playoffs. Justin Fields, I just don't see it for him. I don't know what Justin Fields' ceiling is outside of his running. His running ability is great. Nobody's questioning that. But when you sit to win the Super Bowl, you have to be able to sit in the pocket, read a defense, go through your progressions, and deliver the football in an accurate way. You cannot just play poor like this. You just can't. You're never going to win. It's not going to happen. And, DJ Moore being there just didn't matter. It just didn't matter. Damn, bro. That's crazy.
He just ripped
Phil just ripped one. Good for you.
We got E in the house.
Yeah.
He's Phil E.
Phil E. Phil.
All right. So I don't know, man. After the past few games with Jordan Love, he's looked all right.
I'll go J Love, baby.
He's looking all right. And here's the thing. The throw he had to Aaron Jones when Aaron Jones scored that long touchdown. Can Justin Fields make those little intermediate throws and let your player do it? Because I don't see it.
What about the throw to Romeo Doubs?
Romeo Doubs on the money.
Oh my God! It looked like Aaron Rodgers threw that.
That's a way better example because that was distance and it was like you said, it was a dot throw.
That's like an Aaron Rodgers taught him that.
Yeah,
that was an Aaron Rodgers throw. That was a great throw, and that's when I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take Jordan Love. He learned from one of the greatest of all time.
Jordan Love just looks like when he's in the pocket, he looks more confident, he looks more decisive, and he just looks like he knows where to go with the ball.
And he's gonna take his check downs when he has them.
Yeah. So
right. Exactly. And not for nothing. The Packers don't have a wide receiver one. They don't have a DJ Moore on their.
He was throwing the Romeo Dobbs.
And he's put up 38 points. Right? 3 touchdowns, that will do it. 250 yards, that will do it. Right on the road, that will do it. Like that's
an impressive start.
That's an impressive start. Like Justin Fields had 216 and he had a touchdown and an interception. Got sacked 4 times, and everybody's going to say, "Oh, it's the offensive line." But yeah, you're right. Like he's holding on to the ball too long. That's because he's not going through his progressions and in a fashion where in the NFL you got to be quick. Those players are coming after you. You got to get the ball out so fucking fast. That's why all the greats study that. That's why all the greats practice that. They get the ball out quick. They're always on the same page with their wide receivers because they need to know where they're at all times. Because as soon as the ball snaps, I'm throwing it right there, and you need to be there. That's why it's so important for Brady and them to have that chemistry with their wide receivers. All the greats have that mentality of knowing where your receiver is going to be. I'm going to deliver the football. You got to be there.
Yeah, it was a beatdown.
It's a beatdown. An absolute beatdown.
Speaking of beatdowns, Dallas absolutely smokes the Giants on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, you're such a pro now. Like that was such a good transition. That was a great transition.
It's light.
It's light.
It's light. Yeah, something light. So anyway, before I was rudely interrupted.
I'm sorry. I just want to give you your props.
I appreciate it. I appreciate getting my flowers because we're gonna smoke them after.
You're good at this.
Dallas. So Dallas smokes the Giants. That was one of the worst games I've ever watched. I don't even know what to say about it.
I could say a lot. The
Giants are moving the ball down the field. I'm like, all right, here we go. They get that turnover, and I'm just looking, and I'm like, you paid 47 M's for Daniel Jones. 47 M's for Daniel Jones.
M's. I got a better one for you. What cracked me up is that everybody picked the Giants because they have Darren Waller. Darren Waller hasn't been relevant since 2020. What the fuck am I missing? The Dallas Cowboys added an all-pro a former defensive player of the year as their cornerback to pair with Trayvon Diggs. They added Brandon Cooks. They get Michael Gallup back healthy. They got Tony Pollard back there. They don't have the confusion with Zeke. They got a top offensive line. They got a top 10 quarterback, and their defense is fucking excellent. And everybody's over here picking the Giants because they got Darren Waller. Miss me with this shit. The Giants are fucking ass.
They are.
They got a big problem because their wide receivers ain't shit, and you have a tight end who already has a hamstring injury. And I know he played, but I don't know how healthy he is because he looked like a regular dude. I could put in Dawson Knox in there, and he probably could have had the same production. Dead ass serious. So to me, I just don't see it with the Giants. This is a big regression year for them, and I think the Cowboys they're ready, bro.
I'm impressed with the Cowboys, and I'm disappointed with the Giants.
I'm worried about
I thought the Cowboys looked in sync. They looked together. The game plan was good. But like for the Giants, how do you come out opening night and get blown off the field like that? Like that is so embarrassing.
I think Dallas is a weirdly hungry team. When I saw Dak Prescott,
they should be hungry.
When I saw Dak Prescott pregame and he was talking to like the reporter, the look in his eyes was he was all about business. Well, it was no smiling, no bullshit. He was like, yeah, we're ready. Whatever it takes to win, I don't care.
Well, he just woke up from the 11-hour anesthesia from getting a tattoo.
Well, that happened in the offseason.
Who the fuck gets put to sleep for 11 hours to get a tattoo?
Can we talk about that real quick, though? Because the report is just so late and so irrelevant that it's the reason why it made the news because he's a Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
But I'm just saying, like, I never even heard of that. To go under anesthesia for 11 hours for a tattoo, I mean, it's a good idea because tattoos hurt like a bitch.
That's why he needed it, bro. 11 hours on your leg, that's got to hurt.
That tattoo was fire, too.
It is fucking fire.
That awesome.
And it means something to him. So, look, I hate Dallas with a passion, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not scared about the Cowboys because this team's fucking good.
Yeah, no.
And they come after you. Michael Parsons, he's the best defensive player I've ever seen.
What?
I've ever seen.
He's better than Ray Lewis. He's better than Patrick Willis. He's better than Luke Kuechly. He's better than Aaron Donald.
Look, it's too early to say he's better than them, like statistically and just overall. But when I am watching him, I have never seen a player as disruptive as him. He is in every fucking play. He's in the backfield anytime. You put 2 guys on him, he spins out of it, and he gets after your quarterback. He creates quarterback pressures on almost every single snap he's in a part of. It is absolutely insane. It is. He's the best defensive player in the league, and to me, it's not even close. If every team had a draft to take one defensive player, and there was a rankings, he would be right up there at the top of the list, number one. And if anybody didn't take him number one, they're foolish. Absolutely foolish. He's the best defensive player in the league.
I know somebody wears number 7, wears Midnight Green, had better stats than him.
That's stats, but I'm talking about the overall defensive line. Like the Eagles had a better defensive line than the Cowboys last year. So his stats are going to be better than Micah Parsons because Parsons is getting double team, triple team more than Hassan Reddick. So the stats to me are misleading. When I look at the impact and I watch the game, Michael Parsons to me is the best defensive player in the league.
But
like he's the best defensive player in the league.
You own something to say he's the best defensive player you've ever seen. I mean,
I would take him over anybody in the league.
Right, currently.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. As long as you say currently, that's fine. As long as you say currently, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
I mean, look, Ray Lewis and him have a different impact.
But you said best defensive player.
Yeah, the most disruptive defensive player I've ever seen is definitely Michael Parsons.
Fuck no.
Who's better?
Ray Lewis.
You could say Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald.
Ray Lewis was a leader and he was a hard-hitting linebacker. He was disruptive when he was called upon.
Bro.
But he wasn't consistent like a Michael Parsons. This motherfucker's flying everywhere, bro.
Family. Do you remember the 2000 Ravens?
Yeah.
Who was the
Tony
leader?
Siragusa in them?
Yeah, well, who was the leader of that defense that propelled them to a Super Bowl win?
It's Ray Lou.
I appreciate it. So my thing is that until Micah Parsons can propel them past the divisional round, let's stop the cat.
Well, look, this is Parsons' what, 3rd, 4th year?
And they do shit.
Well, he's
got to lead them. Ray Lewis was what, 95?
Dog, this is his this is his 3rd year right now.
Yeah.
And when you watch him, this guy looks like he's a 7-8 year vet that's been doing it forever. This guy is so good. Like, I wish the Eagles had him.
We got one.
No, we should have him.
No, we got 7.
No,
they got 11. They got 11 from heaven. We got 7. From
Michael
heaven.
Parsons is just better than Hassan Reddick.
I couldn't tell,
bro. It's really not close.
I don't know. Hassan Reddick was disruptive. Did you see what he did to the 49ers?
No, he's disruptive. I like Hassan Reddick, but compared to Michael Parsons, I'm gonna go Parsons all day.
Here's my point:
bro.
the stats don't back up what you're saying.
But defensive stats are different than offensive stats. It's just a difference. It's different,
bro. If you're that good, you can beat double teams. I watch Aaron Donald.
And he has.
You don't think Aaron Donald is getting double teamed when he's breaking all these records?
Oh no, he has.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And that's my point with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons. I'm gonna start calling him.
Excellent.
I'm gonna start calling him Josh Parsons.
He's excellent, bro.
That's what we're going to call him. He's Josh Parsons moving forward.
He's excellent. He's a linebacker that has 27.5 sacks in his career, and he just started his 3rd year.
He is.
It's crazy.
I'm saying he is a lightning bolt. But let's chill on that. He's the best defensive player you've ever seen.
I'm okay with saying that this early.
I'm not okay.
I'm all right.
I'm
saying
not
that.
okay.
Look, I love Ray Lewis. I love Ray Lewis, but Micah Parsons' impact, he changed Dallas's defense the last 3 years. He's made them significantly better because Dallas's downfall was always their defense. The Romo years, whatever, and early Dak years, it was always their defense that always let them down. Their offense was good.
Micah Parsons made them better. Then why'd they go out and get Stephon Gilmore? Why'd they need him? Michael Parsons
made
the defense better.
Well, why wouldn't you? If you're telling me I can have Michael Parsons and I can get Trayvon Diggs and sign Stephon Gilmore, why wouldn't I do that?
But my point is that
you can't ask me that.
They're just Cowboys that get all this hype because they're Cowboys. They said the same thing about Trayvon Diggs.
I fucking hate the Cowboys.
I couldn't tell. And Trayvon Diggs gets burned weekly.
Bro, I hate the Cowboys. I am just telling you what I am looking at. I am looking at the guy that is completely disruptive the entire game.
Bro,
you have to know where 11 is at all times on the field, every single snap. That is like an Ed Reed impact. That's like Troy Polamalu impact. That is like a Dawkins impact. That is impactful.
Yeah,
and he's doing it at a linebacker spot.
And you need to know where 7 is at too. That's all I'm saying.
I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying Hassan Reddick is a bad player, but I think Michael Parsons is better than Hassan Reddick.
I don't know.
I just do.
I don't know about that because I think Hassan is just as disruptive. I just think Michael Parsons has the name. The guy's been projected to win the Defensive Player of the Year for since 2009? That's what it seems like every year.
2021, he came in the league.
Everyone's saying that. I feel like it's been 14 years.
Yeah, it feels like it.
And
but
that's all everybody says is, oh my God.
This is his 3rd season.
I understand that. And we're going to see if they could keep him next year because they got a lot of money on them.
They're going to have to keep they're going to have to do everything they can to keep him.
That's a situation
an interesting,
I'm very curious to see.
Because I'll tell you what, Michael Parsons is going to be the highest defensive paid player in NFL history. And it's not going to be close.
Oh, no. He's getting that money.
He's going to get, I'm not even kidding you. If I had to predict his contract, he's going to get about $35 million a year. Easy. Look at Bosa got 5 years, 170.
Yeah.
He's going to blow that out the water. He's going to have 200 million.
200.
Easy.
All right, let's go on to the Dolphins. They beat the Chargers 36-34. That game was wild. Do you think it's the same old Chargers, or do you think that the Dolphins are just that good when healthy with Tua?
I actually think both. I think it's the same old Chargers, and I think the Dolphins are just that good. Like, I think the Chargers, and what I mean by that is like, yeah, the Chargers, it's the same old Chargers, blah, 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 but their talent is just extremely well. And I mean, and there's the Chargers, they have boatloads of talent. So to beat a team like that is a good sign for the opposing team, which is Miami. And Miami, the way they came back in crunch time, and Tua came back with that throw to Tyreek Hill in a tight window right next to the fucking defender's ear. That was like the most pinpoint accuracy I've seen. That was the most insane throw this weekend. It was beautiful. Are we going to open the floor now to this Justin Herbert conversation? I'm open to it.
He's a 500 quarterback.
It's a 500 quarterback.
And his team is loaded.
Look, you have Austin Eckler as your running back. This guy is.
You got Keenan Allen. You got Mike Williams. You got a first-round draft pick in Quentin Johnson. You have to win games. I don't want to hear shit from anybody. Right now, present day, Tua is better than Justin Herbert.
I can't disagree with that.
Tua is better than Justin Herbert. I don't care about the talent, the ceiling, the ability. When Tua is on the field and he is healthy, he produces more.
And they win.
Than Justin Herbert.
That's a fact.
Look at Tua's win-loss record. Look at Justin Herbert's. Who has had more health?
Right.
Justin Herbert's even had stability. You got Tua playing with Brian Flores, who hates him. He's in and out of the lineup because he's hurt. Now he's playing with Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniels is obviously a good coach.
Great coach.
But the same thing, look at what he's doing. Everybody said, oh, Tyreek Hill's going to hate being in Miami after coming from Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill's doing the same exact shit. I couldn't
tell.
The same exact shit, except now he's living in, Florida
Miami,
instead of Kansas City.
Yep.
And instead of Missouri, whatever. But it's like, you look at it and it's like, dude, at what point are you going to say this? Now, they're always going to compare Tua and Herbert. Does Herbert have a higher ceiling? I don't know. Is he more talented overall, like from an arm perspective? Okay, yeah, you got me there. But when it comes to winning football games and just
in clutch moments,
and operating in the clutch, there's no argument. There's no basis to your argument to tell me that Justin Herbert is better than Tua. If you slide out 2 sheets of paper and you write down all their statistics, you're taking Tua. You're taking Tua. Justin Herbert may have the numbers in those statistics, but when it comes down to the win and loss record and you look at the options that they're throwing to and the skill players, Justin Herbert should be ashamed of himself.
He should.
Josh Allen's slipping down them spots on the top quarterbacks in the league. Justin Herbert should be tumbling down them.
Mm-hmm.
Not slipping. He should be tumbling.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Justin Herbert better than Dak Prescott? He's not. At current day, Dak Prescott's better than Justin Herbert. Dak Prescott's played in 4 playoff games. He's got 2 playoff wins. He's had Amari Cooper. He's had CD Lamb. Yeah. Has he ever had a dangerous number 2? No, he had washed up Zeke the last 2 years. What are we talking about here? Dak Prescott is better than Justin Herbert. He is.
I'm going to go with this is an interesting thing for me with this game. So Raheem Mostert was the Miami's leading rusher. 10 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown. Raheem. Right? LA has Austin Eckler and Joshua Kelly. Austin Eckler had 16 carries for 117 yards. Joshua Kelly had 91 yards. You had 2 running backs with 90-plus rushing yards, and you lost the game at home. Okay? That's concerning for me. Because now, if the Chargers are successful running the football, that doesn't actually mean they're going to have success to win the game. And that's a bad sign. When you rush the ball for 234 rushing yards versus your opposing 70 and you're home and you lose the game, there's a problem. They have a problem. The Chargers have a problem. They're able to have ground success and still lose the game. Like the opposing team had 70 rushing yards versus your 234, and you lost a game at home. That's a game you win. When you got a talent like Justin Herbert, you got Keenan Allen, you got Mike Williams, you got Austin Eckler, you got Quentin Johnson. Like, Quentin Johnson's a pretty good player.
Gerald Everett.
I mean, like, to me, like, you got weapons. There should be no more excuses with Justin Herbert. And you have Kellen Moore, by the way, that he is this offensive guru that's going to propel this team to the promised land. And I had the Chargers in the Super Bowl. Maybe I'm foolish. Maybe I was wrong about that.
You've been sipping on some shit.
Yeah, I can't pronounce.
Call it to it.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, when you have 234 rushing yards and you lose the game, I'm very concerned about this team. That's trouble. That's trouble. And Miami, it's looking like they are able to put everything onto it. Tua came through. He didn't have a running game. So you know what he did? He put the team on his back. He threw for 466 yards, and he threw for 3 touchdowns, and he was excellent.
Can we finally...
And clutch.
We talked about this. Can we finally put some respect on Tua's name? And I was a hater. I didn't think Tua was going to succeed
I said it earlier. I don't think Tua was that good.
I didn't see it with him.
Me either.
But as far as his mind operating in the pocket, throwing accurately,
confidence,
he doesn't need to have the strongest arm. He actually said it in the post in the presser. He said, like, you can't really compare me and Justin Herbert. He obviously has a stronger arm. He said something along those lines. He's humble. He knows what he's doing, but he's got the brain,
right,
the mental fortitude. Can we please just start respecting Tua? Look at his win-loss record. Look at his stats when he's healthy. Miami was 9-3 last year or something like that. 7-3,
8-3. I think it was 8-3 when he was a starter.
Miami's good, and I have Miami missing the playoffs, and I had in favor of the Chargers.
Yeah,
I'm done with the Justin Herbert shit. I'm done with it until he proves it.
Yeah,
until he proves it.
What does he need to do for you, though?
Justin Herbert?
Yeah, to get back into your good graces.
He needs to win those type of games because he has enough talent. He needs to be 11, 12, 13 wins.
Yeah, but he needs to win against good teams.
That's what I'm saying.
Like not like the bottom of the barrel, the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Like, of course you're most likely going to win, but when you could play a competent opponent like the Miami Dolphins are, like, because they are a legit Super Bowl contender. Yeah. When you beat a team like that in the clutch, then that's where I'm like, okay, like you might have arrived now.
Yeah.
But when you actually fail to win this game, I'm really questioning this whole team. I man. I have a lot of questions with this team.
I want smoke this year with Herbert.
I mean,
because I'm a big fan of Herbert. I think I mean, I've said in the past that he's great. I'm not saying that anymore because I can't keep defending you when you're doing this. I criticize Allen, Mahomes. I get on all these other guys, and it's like when I look at Herbert, it's like I'm always defending him because he's the talent is so, like, I don't know, like robust.
Right.
You just see it. It's like oozing out of him. Pause.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's crazy.
God damn.
That is
wild gay.
My
fault.
Wild.
So my thing is, though, is like with Herbert, when you see that, it's just like, all right, enough of the excuses.
Oozing out of him is insane.
You gotta win. You gotta win now. All right, let's just switch topics right now.
Hold on. I just want to make one more statement. Make one more statement. I'm going to give my man Austin Eckler his fucking flowers, man. This guy's the best running back in the league. Let's stop the cap here. Can we? Can we stop the cap? Austin Eckler is the best fantasy player in the game, and right now he's the best running back in the game. I know CMC is there. I don't give a fuck. This guy gives me 117 yards on the ground, 16 carries. He catches the ball. This guy does everything, man. Like, he is asked to do so fucking much for this offense, and he comes through. The problem is his quarterback is not giving him the proper respect in the media world because they're losing.
Family. I played him in fantasy.
He's awesome.
I watched this dude just run up and down the field.
He's awesome.
And it's like every time he touched the ball, I was scared.
Yeah.
But we're going to change topics here. We're going to go a different direction. And speaking of running up and down the field on motherfuckers, the Browns dug the Bengals out.
I'm not surprised. And this was my what was it? This was my psychotic upset of the week was the Cleveland Browns. And to me, this was such an easy game to predict because I felt the Bengals were going to come out sluggish because Joe Burrow didn't have much time in training camp. The Browns were overlooked all season. And when I look at this roster, they are just as good as anybody in the league.
I'm still concerned with Deshaun.
I am too. Like, I don't think he played particularly well. There was a lot of throws where I was like, whoa.
He 1 touchdown, 1 interception,
Terrible.
$165.
$154, and he was 16 of 29 passing.
Yeah, that's not going to do it, bro.
It's not going to do it, but hey, they won the game.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters, right? But when you got Nick Chubb and you got Amari Cooper, you got Elijah Moore, you got Njoku, Peoples-Jones, you got weapons. Like, this team can only get better, in my opinion.
So here's the thing. I don't know what to make of it. And it's because I don't know what got into Joe Burrow.
Bro, he was absolutely god-awful.
I don't know what to make of the Browns, because if Deshaun Watson would have came out and threw for 250, 2 touchdowns, 25 of 34, and he put it on, it would have been like, okay, the Browns might have something.
But the Bengals have a good defense too.
Yeah. But my point is, it's like I'm so focused on Deshaun Watson, because if he's not Deshaun Watson, the Browns aren't winning.
Right. The Browns are going to go as Deshaun Watson goes.
Correct. That's what I was trying to say. I just articulated it a little different. My bad. But when I watched Joe Burrow throw for 82 yards, he looked, I know he missed camp because of his calf, but ain't an excuse to look like that.
Right. He looked beyond rusty. He looked like he hasn't played football in like 2-3 years.
He looks like he hasn't played since last year's AFC Championship.
Yeah. No, it was really bad.
I don't even know. It's not even me trying to defend him here. I don't even know what to make of that. And Joe Burrow is my favorite player in the league.
Awesome.
I don't even know what to say there.
That was the worst performance I've ever seen.
And
Joe Burrow, and it wasn't close.
And they got the Ravens coming to town next week. The Ravens look like they worked off some rust because that was a little bit sloppy in Houston. But look, they still got a dub.
The odds makers are going to put the Ravens as the favorite because the way the Bengals perform. But I think that's a trap.
Are the Bengals are home, aren't they? It's Ravens at Bengals.
Is it at Bengals?
Keep talking. I'll check it out.
No, it's at Bengals.
And I think the Bengals are 3.
Yeah. So I think.
So the Bengals are -3.
They're going to be their favorites.
Bengals are -3.5.
Wow.
I love the Bengals.
Me too.
Too big of a line.
Me too. But anyway, they looked absolutely awful. That team looked like the team that had them out of the playoff picture for me.
Yep.
That's what I thought this team was going to be, out of sync. And if they get in a hole early, the AFC is way too good.
They did start 0-2 last year, and the fact that the Bills, the Chiefs, the Chargers, all of those are 0-1 is only going to help them.
That's true. That is very true. But there's also teams, sleeper teams, and the Browns. When the Browns won and the Ravens won, not for nothing, this game this weekend for the Bengals is very important because you don't want to go down 2 games in the division this early.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue.
That's the biggest issue. Because if the Browns win and the Ravens win, now you have 2 teams that you got to catch.
Yep.
So they have to win this game. They got to figure out a way to see what was up. But the Browns defense, to me, was the total difference maker in this game. It wasn't just the offense on each team. It was actually the Browns defense. They got after Joe Burrow. They made him make mistakes. They made him overthrow, underthrow him. They were just all over the place. And Myles Garrett, to me, is a fucking wrecking machine.
He is good, man.
He is damn good. And when you have him and Zadarius Smith, who will catch on at some point and make his plays as he gets more comfortable with his defense, this Browns defense is going to be fucking scary. And last year, I said in the offseason, they were a top 5 secondary last year in passing yards per game. You know what I mean? That's, to me, it tells me everything. You get pressure on the quarterback, you let your defenders play, and that's how you'll be successful. And you run the football, you kill the clock. Deshaun Watson is 80% of what he was in Houston. This team can go places.
Yep.
And that, you're right. It's really about Deshaun Watson with this team, because when I look at the Browns, this roster is very good and they can make a lot of noise in the AFC.
Yeah, especially with Nick Chubb.
Exactly right.
The way Nick Chubb runs the ball.
You run the ball efficiently and you play good defense, you're very hard to beat. You're very hard to beat, man, because you control the clock and you're playing good defense. That's what you got to do. It's about controlling the clock, and the Browns did that this game. This team's really good, man. I'm looking forward to seeing this division unfold.
They looked all right. I mean, I know the Bengals looked really bad,
But that could be a predication on the way the Browns played.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's that. I mean,
I don't either to a degree,
weeks, but there's no way the Bengals are that bad.
Mm-mm.
But who knows? The Browns could actually be that type of team where they're going to smother you defensively. They got to score 24 points and they're going to get wins.
Yeah.
That could very well be their recipe.
Cincinnati had 75 rushing yards versus Cleveland's 206. That's going to do it. It's going to do it every time. When you give up 3 points and you control the ball and you're running down people's throats, you're going to win the football game 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
The success rate is there. And historically, it's always been there. The more time you possess and play good defense, you're going to win. That's why they say defense wins championships. It's exactly what it is.
Browns' success, they go as far as Deshaun Watson.
That's correct.
That's the bottom line. Speaking of going as far as your quarterback takes you, the Raiders beat Russell Wilson and Sean Payton in their debut.
Yeah.
That was one of the most satisfying victories I've ever watched because they are two people good. I cannot fucking stand.
It was great.
Between Russell Wilson's corny shit and Sean Payton's smug looks, I can't stand the two of them. And just watching those two lose to Jimmy G, who everybody says is trash. I don't know. The guy just wins football games.
He finds a way, yo.
Derek Carr goes there. They were terrible. Jimmy G comes here. He's got Jacoby Myers looking like Randy Moss. He's supporting Devontae Adams. Yep. What are we doing? What are we doing here?
I share the same sentiment as you, man. Jimmy G played excellent football. 20 of 26, awesome. 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jimmy G is not going to get you 300,
you 350. You don't need him to.
But you don't need him to, and that's right. But the 20 out of 26 is efficient enough for you to move the chains, and that's all you got to do, right? And then I look at the Raiders' run game, which was non-existent, and they still won.
And Nick, here's what's even crazier, dude. Denver still can't score.
They can't score.
They scored 16 points. What am I missing with Russell Wilson?
So let me ask you a question. Is this the same Broncos team that you saw last year?
It's the same team, bro. They're not going anywhere. I'm tired of hearing Sean Payton. I don't know, man. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. You know what Sean Payton and Russell Wilson are together? They're 2 bags of trash instead of 1.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson he's old. He's over the hill.
That relationship is going to get really ugly because that's 2 egos that are going to collapse.
And you know, remember I told you when we were talking about what games we were looking forward to?
Yeah.
What did I say? The game before Thanksgiving, Russell Wilson versus Deshaun Watson. Because that is 2 franchises that are going to see with 2 high-paid quarterbacks.
Quote, unquote, overpaid
quarterbacks. Yep. Where are those franchises when Thanksgiving comes and you're getting into the back end of the season, those 4 or 5 final games where it's playoff implications and all that shit? Where is it? Because if the Broncos are out of contention, you're going to see Stid.
Oh, no doubt about it. I don't think Sean Payton has any ties to Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is on a short lease regardless.
And look, Russell Wilson didn't play terrible.
He didn't play terrible.
But he didn't play good enough to win the game. And when you're Russell Wilson, a Hall of Famer, you've been to 2 Super Bowls, let Russ cook. Russ got to do this. Russ got to do that. You could go beat Jimmy G and the lowly Raiders who are plus 1,700 to win their division.
And you were at home.
You lose your home opener.
You lose your home opener to Jimmy fucking G.
And everybody told me Jimmy G blows. I don't understand it. What am I missing here?
I don't know. He wins football games, and that's all that matters.
Jimmy G's better than Kyler Murray. I was right there. There's no argument. He's better than Russ right now. We went over this when we were talking about Russell Wilson in the AFC.
About being a top 10 quarterback in the AFC.
Said, at best, he's 9th. Because there's 8 quarterbacks in the AFC that are definitively better than him. And right now, I don't know if Jimmy G's not better than him.
You can argue that. I just
watched Jimmy G lead one of the worst teams in the NFL last year to a victory. Now, look, the Broncos stunk, and that was all on Russell Wilson. But the Raiders stunk defensively, coaching, offensively. And they come in there, and you got Jimmy G making Jacoby Myers have 2 touchdowns. Devontae Adams is putting on.
I mean, bro, you put up 16 points.
Against the Raiders.
And they didn't even have Chandler Jones because they have the whole offseason drama. Like Max Crosby completely took that game over. Like he was excellent in that game. That man is a dog.
I'm so happy for Jimmy G.
He's a dog.
I'm so happy for him.
Me too.
Nothing would make me happier than Jimmy G taking this Raiders team 8 wins because it'll be respectable. It'll be an increase from last year. And maybe people will finally start talking about that Jimmy G he's a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback.
He's not great. He's not going to make Pro Bowls. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to another AFC NFC Championship game. I don't know. The 49ers win without him. I mean, they win with him. They lose without him.
But he's plays smart football, Jimmy G. He gets his guys.
Sound.
He gets his best players the football. He's always looking for them. Like Jacoby Myers. Like, is he one of the best players? No. Devontae Adams is the best player, but he had 9 targets. So then he recognized the coverage is probably more towards Devontae Adams, obviously. So he recognized the one-on-one matchup for Jacoby Myers. He knows Jacoby Myers' skill set. He can get open. If you look at his time in New England, he was great with New England.
And not for nothing.
He was actually really good. He had a high volume catches, and then he fed Jacoby Myers the football. 9 catches, 81 yards, and 10 targets. Like, if we put anybody else at quarterback and Jacoby Myers shines like this, we tip the cap to the quarterback. But since Jimmy G does it, it doesn't matter because he has Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs and all this shit.
But you know what's underrated?
That's the problem.
That's Jimmy G understanding the game of football. And you put Patrick Surtain, who's probably the best corner in the NFL, on Devontae Adams. So he said, I'll get Devontae the ball when I can. I'll be able to choose my spots. But the other dude, I'm going to bully you with Jacoby Myers because Jacoby Myers is a good receiver.
He was really slept on this offseason.
He was. Jacoby Myers is a good wide receiver.
Good wide receiver.
Now, look, is he going to produce like that every week? No, he's not.
No, and I don't expect him to.
No, but Jacoby Myers is going to be a flex player in leagues.
Oh, absolutely.
He absolutely is. And I'm not saying boom or bust. He's going to be a flex player where he is going to get you 8 to 12 points a week.
Mm-hmm.
And he will occasionally boom.
Yeah.
But
it's really all that matters, man.
All right, last thing before we do our fantasy stuff and then we get out of here. The Bake Show is back.
The Bake Show is back.
Leads the Bucs to a W over the Vikings. Runs over the cornerback, getting that first down to seal the deal. Told him to get his weight up. I don't know if you saw that short.
Oh, I saw that. That was fucking awesome.
That got me hyped up.
Yeah, that's the shit that I like, though. I gravitate towards people like that.
That's why I root for Baker. I was so happy for him, man, because everybody thinks the Bucs are going to be trash. I made a joke that the Bucs could win the division because they were going to be hungry. They still have all their offensive pieces.
Yep.
Then I looked at their schedule and I'm like, oh, no, they're going to be lucky to win 4 games. But then, like I actually texted you this. I just remember this. I'm like, yo, we're midway through the second quarter and Baker Mayfield got 56 passing yards. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
56 passing yards?
Something like that. It was bad. Or maybe it was like midway through.
Oh, yeah. He was awful, actually, in the first half.
And then it looks like he kind of got it together.
The last drive was what really propelled this team to victory.
And I brought this up about the Vikings, and this is why I had the Vikings slipping this year. 11-0 in 1-score games last year. First 1-score game of the season, they lose.
They lose.
And I said, the fuck? Sorry. I said they won what? What were they last year? 12-5, 13-4?
They were 13-4.
And I said, if they just cut that in half, that's 5 losses. That brings them to an 8-win team.
Yeah. I have them fringe playoff team. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be like one of the bottom seeds. But
I think for me, the Bucs might hang in.
They have wide receivers to make noise. It's not like they have
Mike Evans looked good.
Mike Evans looked like Mike Evans. Like Mike Evans is a good player.
Yeah.
It's like people get surprised when Mike Evans does bad with bad quarterbacks. He's been doing it his whole fucking career. Like
aside from Tom Brady.
And he won the Super Bowl with Brady. So what does that tell you? He had to be somewhat good because Brady chose the Bucs to go there. So he has to be fucking good. He's got to be one of those guys. He's just not talked about because he's not flashy. Like Mike Evans ain't going to gritty when he scored a touchdown. Mike Evans is going to throw the ref the ball and he's going to run to the sideline. That's just what he does. He doesn't do the flashy shit, which doesn't gravitate towards the public, which I understand, but you can't deny the stats. The guy gets 1,000 yards regardless of his quarterback every year in his career. So, like, to me, there's no argument about Mike Evans being a top fucking wide receiver in this league. It's ludicrous. It really is. And then you got Chris Godwin on the outside. And, you know, I think the only thing that I'm a little disappointed about with the Bucs is Rachaad White. I didn't think he played particularly well. I thought he was very lethargic, wasn't hitting the holes correctly, and he just didn't look like he had that same burst like he had last year. And maybe that will change, which I'm hoping. I expected more targets in the passing game. I think he ended up with 2 or something like that.
Do you know who the Bucs play this week? Don't look it up. I know. Do you know who they play this week?
I have no idea.
Justin Fields and the Bears.
Oh, my God.
At home.
Oh, my God.
Let Baker Mayfield turn up for me.
If Justin Fields loses to Baker Mayfield.
Oh, well, put respect on him now. Let's not do that.
No. But you have to understand the perspective here.
Okay.
Everybody thinks Baker is ass, and I'm one of them. I don't think Baker is that good. I think he's okay. I think he's a starter. I'll leave it at that. He's a decent starter. He can rally his team. He has good leadership skills. He does.
That's respectable. I could take that.
He has good
I'm there
leadership.
too. He's a starter. I'll say that too because
He's a starter and he has good leadership skills. Like he's proven it with the Bucks. Like they rally, behind guys like that can get fired up and stiff arm a fucking cornerback.
But
like
when he did that, I'm like, yo, Baker, that rallies, what I remember, bro.
Right.
That is who you
the swagger, the confidence, the arrogance. Everybody gravitates towards that.
He never had that in Carolina.
But he's also a leader, and I think that's what's respectable about Baker. So the outside media perspective of Baker is, oh, well, he got casted away from Cleveland, and that's why they moved on. And he just, look at his career in Carolina. He sucked there, went with the Rams, and then he went to the Bucks. Like he's not good. Nobody believes in Baker. But if Justin Fields loses to Baker Mayfield, I told you what was going to happen to Justin Fields next year. I told you this. I think I said it last year. I think I said it in the offseason. I said Justin Fields, this is going to be his last year in Chicago playing quarterback for the Bears because this team is going to spiral out of control and they're not going to know how to handle it. Then they're going to look at all the draft picks they got for DJ Moore. They're going to look at the quarterback and be like, bro, we did all this for you and you haven't gotten us there. We got to move on.
We got to go get Shedeur Sanders.
And that's a possibility. I don't think Justin Fields is going to play quarterback for the Chicago Bears next year.
Are you a Baker fan this week?
I'm a Baker fan because I don't believe in Justin Fields, and everybody killed me for it.
Wow, Nick Mayfield is fucking crazy.
Nick Mayfield is here.
Nick Mayfield.
I'm okay, bro. I just, like I said, I respect Baker. I do. Like, yo, I respect people. I respect people that have the world against them, and he comes back and he wins football games. Like I respect that. I respect it, bro.
I'm so proud.
What is there not to respect? Right? Like what is there not to respect?
I'm a proud father.
Right? And then I look at Justin Fields and it's like, bro, you had all this hype. You had 3 years. This is your third year in the league. You can't lose to Baker Mayfield. Like you just can't.
You can't do that shit.
From the outside world looking in, from all the hype and looking at everybody trashing Baker Mayfield, the two worlds are completely opposite. If you lose to the guy that everybody wants to trash when you are this hyped, there's a problem.
Bro, if you lose to Baker Mayfield,
the Bears will have a big problem.
Oh my God, dude. If he loses to Nick Mayfield,
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised because I don't think DJ Moore is going to do that well because the Bucks have a lot of film on him from his time in Carolina. And
that's the Bucks, great point.
And the Bucks defense is pretty good. So I wouldn't be surprised if he can't utilize DJ Moore. What's he going to go to? Darnell Mooney? Is this game in Tampa?
It's in Tampa.
Oh my God, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. It's going to be hot as fuck out
Bears
there too.
Are at Tampa.
Oh, good luck.
All right. Oh shit, dude. We're supposed to do power rankings 1 through 5. I didn't do them, but I'll do them off rip.
All
right. So at number 5, I will say, give me the Eagles. Not a particularly great win, but they still got the dub. I'm a little concerned that Jalen Hurts looked a little out of sorts.
Yeah.
Missing Dallas Goedert, wide open guys. Number 4, I will say, damn, this is hard off the top. Number 4, who's good? Who's good? Give me the Lions.
Okay.
They came out, beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. I thought that was a big, respectful win, obviously. Number 3, I will say, I'm trying to think of all the games that were played. I got to bring up the slate. My bad, audience that's watching. My bad. Give me 1 minute. I missed it. What am I on? Number 3? Number 3, I'll go with, give me Miami. Come out there and win a shootout against the Chargers.
Yep.
That's excellent. And you go toe-to-toe. You go toe-to-toe with Herbert at home, even though it's really not a home game. And that's actually, I think, is playing a factor into these fucking Chargers.
Yeah.
They don't have a home crowd.
They don't
have anybody that can rally to get them back in there. Every time you go there, it's like 50-50. It's like, bro.
Tyreek Hill was pumping up the crowd because the crowd was on his side.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
Number 2, give me the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is here, bro. That team is here. I think the Jaguars are here to stay. And number 1, you got to say Dallas. Oh, no, I can't leave out the 49ers. I'll take the Jags off of there. I'll put the 49ers in there. They smoked Pittsburgh. Brock Purdy looks like he's the real deal. Brock Purdy looks like he's him.
I told you he was going to get better.
Command of the offense. You have off-season elbow surgery and you come out and play like that at Mike Tomlin.
He's going to get better.
And then at number 1, Dallas. To go out on Sunday Night Football and put out an opening statement like that and beat down your division rival. Division games are supposed to be close.
Right.
You beat them down and embarrassed them. Dallas, number 1.
So my power rankings, I'm going to start from 5 to 1. Number 5, I got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They didn't have an impressive win over the Colts, but they got the win nonetheless. And I love the Calvin Ridley connection with Trevor Lawrence, as I've been talking about all season. Number 4, I got the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins went to LA, handled business. They got a high-powered offense and a Super Bowl contending team. They did that on the road. Give me Miami at number 4. Number 3, I had the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys handled business. They smoked the shit out of the Giants, but I need to see a little bit more because I feel like that game just completely spiraled out of control for the Giants, and Dallas is good enough to take control over that. So I want to see Dallas play a little bit better opponent. So I got them at number 3. Number 2, I got the San Francisco 49ers. They completely waxed the shit out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That game was absolutely a blowout. Brandon Ayuk looked like he arrived, and he might be the best wide receiver on that team. And number 1, I got the Philadelphia Eagles. They got New England's best shot. They did it on the road. They did it on Tom Brady's ceremony. They had Bill Belichick's best shot in 6 months of preparation. They still got the win. It wasn't pretty, but they still won. Good teams find a way to win the game, and the Eagles did that, and they will improve as the season progresses because that talent on that roster is completely loaded, and they're only going to get better. So that is my power rankings 1 to 5.
You deep in your bag.
I'm really deep.
Yeah, you deep. Come on, fam. All right, let's few fantasy things and let's get out of here. We're gonna run through these. Freak of the week. I got Tyreek Hill.
You got Tyreek Hill?
I got Tyreek Hill, bro. The dude had 42 points.
I know. I mean, what am I going to say? I'll go to it here. 466 yards, 3 touchdowns. This guy was excellent. I'll go to it.
All right, Geek of the week. I got Dallas Goedert. He got me a 0, cost me my week. And that was just painful, and it hurt. And this is why I hate having Eagles players on my fantasy team because it hurts more.
It hits different.
It hurts more. Yeah. And I lost a close game, and it was hurtful.
Yeah. My Geek of the week is Joe Burrow. 82 passing yards. You're the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, the highest paid player in NFL history, and you come out, you have 45% completion percentage with 82 yards against the Browns. That was my Geek of the week because he impacted so many fantasy teams with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. That was an impact on why T. Higgins got a 0. So, I mean, I can't believe he had 8 targets and he had a 0. 0. I mean, we're talking about T. Higgins here. We're not talking about a guy and like Kendrick Bourne. Like, we're talking about T. fucking Higgins, who's a arguably a top 10 wide receiver in this league. So for me,
top 10.
Yeah, I mean, so when Burrow has 82,
I'm sorry.
If he has 82 passing yards with 2 wide receiver ones, Geek of the week.
For. All right, fantasy segment before we get out of here. Scoop or poop? Puka Nacua.
I'm scooping him, bro. He is bro, 15 targets, playing the Cooper Cup role. I love Puka.
Now, I'm scooping too. 15 targets.
No
I need
cap.
to see.
No cap.
And Matt Stafford actually looks sharp.
Yeah.
Kendrick Bourne.
Poop. I'm not going to scoop him up. 28 years old. I have no reason to think that he's just going to turn around at age 28. Yeah, I think he's going to have good games here and there. If you look at the last 2 seasons, he's always had 1 or 2 games over 90 yards and a touchdown. And I think he probably used it this game. So for a season-long fantasy, I'm not going to depend on Kendrick Bourne. So I'm going to call poop.
I'm a scoop here in deep leagues. I think it's worth a flyer in a 12 or 14 man league.
Fair.
They don't have good skill players. It is outside of Ramondre.
Yeah.
But it's worth it, especially with Bill O'Brien, who I think is a very good offensive mind. I think he's worth it in a deep league. Jacoby Myers.
Scoop, but I'm very nervous about the concussion. He got actually leveled.
Bro.
That was really bad.
When they showed the replay, he was just looking in like right field, just out of it. He might be out 2 weeks.
Yeah, he might be out 2 weeks. And the way the protocols are set up, I actually agree with that.
That's what I'm saying.
But I'll scoop him up because I think there's high potential there with this offense and the Raiders. Josh McDaniels has familiarity with Jacoby Myers in New England. I think he knows how to use them. And you also have Devontae Adams on the other side. That's going to command a lot more attention. I do like Jacoby Myers moving forward.
So do I. That's a definite scoop. Jacoby Myers is going to be a consistent flex guy for leagues, for sure. Gus Edwards.
I don't know what to make of this. I'm going to say poop because I don't actually know what the Ravens' plans are because they have Gus Edwards. They have that other guy. What is his name?
Justice Hill.
Justice Hill. I know there's talks about Melvin Gordon. Like, I want nothing to do with a backfield that has Melvin Gordon on their fucking backfield. I just don't want nothing to do with it. Me, complete poop.
For yeah, no, I'm out on Gus Edwards too. And I unfortunately was a victim of J.K. Dobbins.
Poop?
Yeah, poop. I'm sorry. My thing with Gus Edwards, dude, is it's Gus Edwards. He was complaining about his contract. Yeah. He has a torn MCL.
Right.
I'm not interested.
Yep.
Kieran Williams.
I'm scooping. This guy's heat.
He is
really good. And you could just tell he is just a lot better than Cam Akers. He understands the offense better. He knows how to run,
shifty,
hit the holes, shifty,
in and out of the lane and stuff like that.
I'll tell you what, dude. I'll tell you what. Seamus got a fucking steal with that, man.
I know. Yeah, Kieran Williams is a scoop for me too. He's gonna be a good fantasy player, dude.
And he's gonna take over that backfield as the season progresses because I looked at Cam Akers. He had 2 yards of carry.
The Cam Akers experiment
is done.
Died. It's over. He's not it.
Unfortunately, yes. So, I would agree with that.
All right, guys. Thank you for hanging around with us for that long-ass episode, but it was all good shit. We'll see you guys on Thursday at 8 p.m. Theories, take it away.
Look, I know he said it was a long-ass episode, but it was packed full of heat. So we appreciate everybody rocking with us all night. If you guys haven't done so already, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on YouTube. We are also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, Megaphone, Stitcher,
and all that other shit.
Also follow us on all of our social platforms as you do not want to miss our daily heat on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And we will see you guys this Thursday at P&I, baby.
I'm caps lock different. It's facts, not fiction. Said I black out for real, then the track gone missing. If it's cap, I'm dipping. We ain't talking about a move, then it's flatline finished. When I spaz, I'm grinning. Put a peel off in the Sadies and I pass by spinning. It's perks with this life, but I don't have my skinnage. Took a quick trip and now I'm back home winning. And I see they eyes pop like I snack on spinach. Pull up to the spot, she tryna grab my digits. I'm already 8 shots, a Henny past my limit. Here you go. Hazards with a dash full of tickets. I'ma act like I don't see them. I got bad eye vision. Y'all can't pass my scrimmage. Way y'all tripping, it's Aruba. I realized I had to